To all my olive drab brothers and sisters who learned how to use a porta-john wearing a flak jacket. To everyone who has ever worn the uniform. Happy birthday. Swig of water for the working man, as Jeremy calls it. Cheers. Got to keep that urine clear. Decided I was going to do a kind of a birthday message and a review for one of my absolute favorite movies, Heartbreak Ridge. It's a 1986 movie based on the 1983 event, loosely, of Grenada. And we kind of get a backdrop on that. But first, it really follows Clint Eastwood's character of Gunnery Sergeant Highway. This Vietnam veteran, 24 years in, and we get a bit of a rundown with that. Gunny Highway, he's been busted down a few times. He should be a higher rank than he actually is, having the long time service. But we first get a glimpse of Clint Eastwood's character of Gunnery Sergeant Highway during a court hearing. He's arrested for a drunken disorderly, and he's been kind of given the last chance because too many NJPs. Gunny Highway puts in for a transfer, and he finally gets it after a long enough time. There's a little exchange with his commanding officer at a supply depot where you find out he put in for the transfer for recon, Fleet Marine Force unit, 2nd Recon Battalion, 2nd Marine Division.
Oh, for Christ's sakes, Highway, relax. I'm being so gung-ho.
That's what I am, sir.
What do you got now, about 24, don't you, Highway?
And then some, sir.
Some men in your position would look forward to retirement. Maybe take the wives on a round-the-world cruise. But that's not your way, is it? Now, you choose to harangue my staff with a request for transfer to a Fleet Marine Force unit. In fact, the very unit you got busted out of some time ago for insubordination, conduct unbecoming. I truly don't know whether to admire you or resent the living hell out of you. Either way, I guess it doesn't make much difference. You're out of here, effective immediately.
Where to, sir?
2nd Recon Battalion, 2nd Marine Division. You're going home.
We get a bit of a introduction into a gentleman named Stitch Jones. Little exchange between the two. Kind of comical. Really, really ridiculous. This movie is extremely campy. I should mention that. It's hokey, it's campy, it's 80s. It's early 80s. It's some of the dopiest things I've ever heard coming out of a person's mouth. The behavior, the clothing. I mean, wow. It's 80s. Mario Van Peebles Peebles with an S? Mario. He pulls it off. He pulls it off very well. It's stupid. But back in the day, back in the 80s, this is how things were. Go back and look at the 90s. Oh, yeah. But he does get a chance to check in, and it turns out he's still got a buddy back at 2nd Recon Battalion.
Hey, crotch rot. I'm gonna slurp my lifer's juice out of my own cup.
Yeah, I guess I should have gotten shots beforehand.
Good to see you, Tom. Where you belong?
Take it easy now. Everybody's gonna think I'm spoken for.
And he's also got this guy.
Gunnery Sergeant Thomas Highway reporting for duty, sir.
Major Powers. This actor did a really good job trying to make you hate him. He's one of those officers that has absolutely no respect for enlisted men. And this really bugs me that this has to be a stereotype. He really has no respect for him at all. And the exchange shows the guy sucks. And there's a point where, you know, we get to see Gunny Highway stack, and he really could just tear the guy's head off if there weren't any consequences for doing so. Major Powers thinks very highly of himself. He thinks that, you know, he has an exemplary career coming over from supply to be the commanding officer of a Fleet Marine Force unit, but you've never had any kind of combat command. That's kind of weird. I could be wrong, but we did get to see a little bit of a little Highway's chest candy there. You just really want to smack this guy. You know, he's unlikable. Can't stand it. Just from this exchange alone, tells us we hate this guy, and I'm okay with that.
To make a good impression.
Skinny is even consults a Marine Corps man before he mounts his old lady, just to ensure he performs in an orderly, proficient military manner.
Yeah.
In a profession where men die young, you should respect the older gentlemen, because they're probably going to keep you alive in the event that lead comes downrange. Just saying, you know. We also meet the lieutenant.
Major? Sir, this is Gunnery Sergeant Thomas Highway. He's been assigned to recon platoon.
Oh, outstanding. Welcome aboard. Well, I gotta hightail it, man. I'm late for preschool school. Lord.
Does Mama know he's playing Marine?
By the way, he's Lieutenant Ring, your platoon leader.
Thanks a lot.
Gunny Highway goes to meet the squadron. This is one of my favorite scenes. The whole movie is my favorite scene. A lot of really quotable lines from this scene, and the whole movie's quotable. But this one particular scene is where Gunny Highway is introduced to recon.
My name is Gunnery Sergeant Highway, and I've drunk more beer and pissed more blood and banged more quiff, busted more... All you numbnuts put together. You men do not impress me. You're gonna start acting like Marines right now.
Who invited you?
I'm not doing this because I want to take long showers with you assholes.
Girl, you know I think you're fine, and you got that big behind.
Yeah, it's funny. I think it's funny. Especially because we find out that Stitch Jones is... this is when Gunny Highway realizes, or finds out, Stitch Jones, the guy who ripped him off at the bus station, is one of his corporals.
I'm here to tell you all that life as you know it has ended. It's at 0600 tomorrow. Your ass is mine. The Marines are looking for a few good men. Unfortunately, you ain't it.
There's a bit of some background, some more background with Gunny Highway. His ex-wife Annie, he tries to get back with her. Again, campy. Lots and lots of camp. Lots of 80s, just dumb 80s rock and roll. Some dumb Reagan era rock and roll. So this scene, we get to see Aggie, the Highway's ex-wife. Their background. Once again, quotable lines. There are several scenes where the younger Marines believe that they can take on the older guy. It doesn't work out very well. They decide they've had enough of this hard training because they're Marines. They're hardcore, except when they're being told what to do. Which is funny because you join the Marine Corps and you don't like to be told what to do. That's a little silly to me. Younger Marines don't like the training, don't like the all this ridiculous stuff that they actually enlisted for in the first place. So they get their buddy Swede to, I don't know what they were expecting to do, beat up Gunny Highway, the dude that survived Vietnam, and a few other things. Yeah, that's gonna work out well.
Sweet, say something charming to the man.
I'm gonna rip your head off and shit down your neck.
So you see, Grungy Highway, we ain't got no use for you no more.
Stick your chin up. Higher. I'll get your ass onto that street, ladies, right this second.
I'll take you later, sweet. Yeah.
Instead of Gunny Highway punishing this kid,
Sir, we don't
he reverses it and says, "Hey, you're in my house. Let's go to work."
Yes, sir.
So we get to see some training montage. Some background with Gunny Highway and Sergeant Major Chuzu. A lot of stuff I won't bore you with. Background material. Bit of an exposition dump, but yeah, every good movie has it. They get the alert. Everybody's on a readiness standby, whatever, and we get to see how Major Powers is just a kind of an idiot. You know, a supply commanding officer trying to run a FMF unit.
These DD-1348 request forms are not filled out properly. We are going to approach this in an orderly, proficient manner, Sergeant Major.
Yes, sir.
I want you to be sure that each round of ammo is counted and returned in the same way it was received.
I'll personally dot the I's and cross the T's.
Sloppiness breeds inefficiency. Your outfit could use some cleaning up and gunning.
Sir, I wanted to issue my squad leader some night vision glasses.
Darn, I should have thought of that. That is not part of your TOE.
Well, I just thought it might be the thing.
Fill out the proper request forms and send it through the chain of command.
Request forms. At ease, man.
Major Malcolm Powers, sir. Annapolis, class of 71.
How you men doing, Major?
My men are ready to fight to the death to protect our country, sir.
Well, let's hope that won't be necessary. Have we ever served together? I don't know, sir. Sergeant Major Chuzu and I were in the 2nd Battalion of the 7th and 68. I had a rifle company, 1st Battalion, 7th. Well, we sure as hell chewed some of the same dirt, sir. That's for sure. What's your assessment of this alert? It's clusterfuck. Say again? Marines are fighting men, sir. They shouldn't be sitting around on their sorry asses filling out request forms for equipment they should already have. Interesting observation, Gunny. Carry on, Major.
Now hear this. Now hear this.
This is it. Going to war.
This has been an emergency deployment readiness exercise. We are standing down. The alert is canceled.
Damn it. Maybe next time, sir.
Okay. FMF units are not run the same way supply is run, to my knowledge. We need to fill out request forms and send those in. Okay, can't you just, like, do that? We should already have this stuff. More exposition? Nobody's going to war yet. And Major Powers is an idiot. Willing to sacrifice Americans to further his career. What a loser. And everybody there knows it. More exposition. Get a bit of some more background between Aggie and Tom. Gunny Highway.
Now listen, we have to understand each other before we go any further.
Are we going any further?
You're going to be out of the Corps soon. But you are gung-ho, Tom, through and through. You always will be. And there is no room in my future for a Marine.
I'm not sure I like the way you say Marine.
I can say Marine any damn way I choose. I earned that right.
That's right, you did.
I lived in a rat hole when they were bringing those boys home in those flag-draped metal coffins. I don't think I got a wink's sleep in '68. Do you remember that year?
Yeah, I remember.
I'd wake up in the morning and turn on the television set. I'd eat dinner in front of it every night, eyes glued, hoping to
to catch a glimpse of you on the news and then praying that I wouldn't. And then I would crawl into bed and I would wonder, oh, where were you? What were you doing? Were you alive? And I had no way of knowing.
I guess there's a lot of things that work harder on a woman than being shot at.
I swear that not knowing was the worst. I'm sorry.
That's all right, baby. That's all right.
Get a bit of a background on what Heartbreak Ridge actually is, where the movie gets its title name.
We went up and down that pile of dirt for 6 days and 6 nights. Fixed bayonets, hand to hand. Fought 'em something fierce. They gave back as good as they got.
Watch man died. We were the 23rd Infantry. We joined the Corps later.
Yeah, we were even younger than you are.
I never heard of no Heartbreak Ridge.
It ain't in any of the history books. Just a little piece of war. Hell, the place didn't even have a name, just a number. Stoney Jackson took one look up at it and said, ladies, if this don't kill us, it'll surely break our hearts.
Who's Stoney Jackson?
Little Mary's husband. He was our platoon sergeant. He was the one who recommended Highway for his Congressional Medal of Honor.
Gunny Highway won the CMH.
He charged 2 machine gun nests by himself. Didn't sleep for 3 days. Final human wave he held off almost single-handedly. When it was over, with me, Stoney Jackson, Tom Highway. We're the only ones still alive.
And more about, why we hate major powers. Especially with this little training exercise that it resulted in a bit of a headbutt between major powers and Gunny Highway. And, the guy that's actually been shot at and been in real combat might have a little bit more experience than the guy who fills out 1348s and request forms and came over from supply and needs to keep his mouth shut. Although he may be in charge, he doesn't have the experience. Okay? Major Powers is actually the nugget in this situation. If you can believe that. Gunny Highway basically stomps him into the mud. Literally stomps him into the mud. Asserting dominance.
Recon wins.
Gunny, you don't know your place. First platoon is the victor.
I say we have ourselves a dilemma, sir.
Sergeant Major is my umpire. I order you to declare first platoon the winner.
Sir, that wouldn't be fair.
What do you propose to resolve this situation?
Not yet.
Remember, Sergeant, I'm leading your platoon today.
So, Marine Corps ball happens. You get a dance with his ex-wife. Him and Aggie get to talk a little bit more exposition dump. And we're on alert. Everybody's deploying for the Grenada incident. So, the party time is cut short. Grenada happens. Grenada, however, potato, whatever. The real-life event of Grenada. And this was an actual event. This actually happened. Wikipedia. It is pronounced Grenada. So this was the morning of October 25th, 1983, just 2 days after the bombing of the U.S. Marine attacks in Beirut. The United States invasion of Grenada began at dawn, October 25th, 1983. The U.S. and a coalition of 6 Caribbean nations invaded the island nation of Grenada, 100 miles north of Venezuela. Codenamed Operation Urgent Fury by the U.S. military, it resulted in military occupation within a few days. It was triggered by the strife within the People's Revolutionary Government, which resulted in the house arrest and execution of the previous leader and second Prime Minister of Grenada, Maurice Bishop, and the establishment of the Revolutionary Military Council with Hudson Austin as chairman. The invasion resulted in the appointment of an interim government, followed by democratic elections in 1984. The country has remained a democratic nation since then. And there was something in there about students too. I forget.
The island of what?
Grenada. It's a Caribbean island, also known as the Isle of Spice. It's 86 nautical miles from the northeast coast of Venezuela. Now, our mission is to helicast into a small bay on the west side of the island and recon in advance of the Marine Landing Force.
No, I can't do that, man. I done forgot my suntan on. Come on, it's time to earn your pay. Let's move.
Come on, pick it up. Let's go.
Yeah, I won't bore you with the war propaganda, as some of you hippies say. Finally get a really nice middle finger to Major Powers towards the end.
Big Daddy says to get off your fat ass and get back in the war. His word, sir. Says he wants to recon that hill.
Gonna recon that hill. To wait for Foxtrot Company before launching any assault on the hill. You stay in contact.
Just what the hell do you think you were doing? Just enjoying the view, sir.
Well, you disobeyed a direct order. I told you to stay in contact and not to take this hill without me.
Who's in charge here?
I am, sir. Major Malcolm Powers.
Did you lead this assault?
Lieutenant Ring and Gunnery Sergeant Highway disobeyed a direct order, sir. I told them to wait for support, but they still charged up this hill.
Why? Because we're paid to improvise, sir. Overcome, adapt.
I gave the order to take this hill, sir.
Are you new to the infantry, Major? Yes, sir. Come over from supply.
Were you good at that?
Yes, sir.
Well, then stick to it. Because you're a walking clusterfuck as an infantry officer. This is a Marine amphibious unit, Major. My men are hard chargers. Lieutenant Ring and Gunny Highway took a handful of young fire pissers, exercised some personal initiative, and kicked ass. Good work, Lieutenant.
Thank you, sir.
Well, you're dismissed. What the hell are you two sorry-assed individuals looking at? Get out of my LZ.
But they did portray things as they happen pretty well. This is by far my favorite scene, but it is an exchange at the end of the movie. And it is my absolute favorite part of this movie. It's the passing of the torch. I get emotional every time because of this exchange. It's tag you're it. And that's really how I felt when I saw retirement ceremonies. Couple of retirement ceremonies that I was in charge of retrieving chairs for. And then there was a couple of... There was a gunnery sergeant who... He didn't want that. He didn't want the fanfare. He didn't want the big deal. Hey, you guys got this. I'll see you later. I get emotional. Like I said, I get emotional every time. And here it is.
Well, you'll be a civilian soon. Let your hair grow long, sleep late, become an asshole rock and roll star.
Sergeant Major Chuzu gave me some re-up papers.
And you signed them?
Hey, the truth, Gunny, I'm a better Marine than I ever was a singer.
You're also a lot dumber than I thought you were, too.
What about you?
I've had it. No room in this band's corps for me now. Besides, I've got you.
Anyway, that's my short review. My review of Heartbreak Ridge. One of my favorite all-time Marine Corps movies. Please watch it. Check it out. I'm not spoiling anything. It's been out since 1986. If you haven't seen it by now, you're absolutely wrong. You should watch this. You should learn to love it. It's campy. It's stupid. It's dopey. Mario Van Peebles. Man, Mario Van Peebles. I haven't seen him in too many more movies outside of this. Watch Heartbreak Ridge. It's fantastic. Happy birthday, Marines. Rah. Yet.